29 positive cases of coronavirus in Oklahoma, 110 test results still pending. I'm Evan Onstein.
Thanks for joining at 10. I'm Abigail Ogle. This just into our newsroom. OU and UCO moving the rest of this semester to online classes only. OSU announced the same earlier today.
My name's Jared Cooper, and I am the outgoing outreach director, incoming recruitment director for the Union Programming Board.
My name is Abby Rowden. I'm an orientation guide for Camp Crimson.
My name is Riley Maynard. This year I got the honor to serve as one of the special events coordinators for the big event.
This semester has definitely affected it a good amount. I got selected to be on orientation staff last semester, and so this semester is mainly like the planning portion of all of camp and just getting everything ready and SGL selections and SGL interviews and things like that. And so it's definitely a bit harder because it's all online, and so we're trying to plan everything online. And then also COVID-19 has been changing a lot of things. So it's kind of just keeping us on our toes of what we are planning and what is going to be happening for the summer.
I would say it definitely had a big hit on us. Obviously, big event was scheduled for April 18th, and so our whole event that we've been working for like this whole semester as a committee wasn't able to happen the way that we wanted it to. So that definitely took a hit. We actually, the week we would have come back from spring break was supposed to be what we call Awareness Week, which is our huge volunteer push week as well. So that had to be canceled. Our week where we get everyone excited for the big event got canceled. And then, of course, obviously the event itself did as well. So we still got to work towards planning some great things in the process. We got to serve the community as an executive committee with our operations staff by having like smaller service projects, but in the end, we weren't able to do our one big day of community service across the entirety of campus.
I think that, like every other organization that was planning events, all our events kind of canceled or got canceled for the in-person part, and we had to kind of change our perspective on things and see how we can continue to do things if we were going to in a way that makes sense for the timing and like what people are going through, but also just keeps that engagement going that we had with the students, because we did have a bunch of events happening before all of this happened. Yeah, I think this is a really interesting time because we've been pushing for social distancing so hard. I think that in the future it could be a situation where people are less likely to go out and like be in big groups if it's still kind of like looming in the shadows. If COVID-19 is still something that like has died down but is still a possibility, people might be hesitant to like go to events or to hang out at the union. They might be like, oh, I'm just going to class and I'm going home because I need to keep away from people. So I think that's kind of how I think it might impact future semesters, but it kind of depends on how the summer goes and if we can get like a vaccine or something to kind of like mitigate the harm of COVID-19.
It's definitely something that I've personally thought about. It's kind of weird. So I'm a junior this year, going to be a senior, and my like class of people, we haven't really gotten a great big event experience yet because our freshman year, it was extremely cold. One of the coldest days ever, where the day before had been beautiful. So it was extremely cold and everyone had to volunteer outside. Our sophomore year, it was freezing cold again, and it was also raining. And so half of the service projects weren't actually able to happen because we just didn't want our volunteers being outside in like torrential downpours. And so this year we were hoping for a good year. We made all kinds of contingency plans, and then it got canceled. So I personally have kind of thought that maybe that could have an impact, just because some people have really never gotten to have a great experience with big event. But we're kind of hoping that like if we kind of push it harder in the fall and like give them opportunities to like see what service can do in Norman, that they won't like have that same bitter taste in their mouth as far as like not wanting to sign up to volunteer with us again. And then we actually just recently in the past few weeks have elected our chair and our vice chairs for the next year. So I know that they're going to start working as soon as they can to like try and develop a plan to like engage students over the summer and in the fall. So that even though big event didn't get to happen, we always say like community through service is our saying, and we think it's more of a mentality than it is like something you like have to do. So if you have that service mentality, like we're hoping to kind of get people to stay in that mindset of being able to find ways to serve like those around them. And so we're hoping that that'll kind of help us rebuild some of that momentum with volunteer signups or just like committee, executive committee like applications that we might have lost.
I'm hoping that it'll impact it in a positive way. I think that online camp this summer, I think it can do really amazing things. You know, it'll be able to do things that in-person camp couldn't do, and like in the same way that it can't do things that in-person camp could do. I think we have a lot more opportunity to reach a lot more students with this online version, and so I'm hoping that it'll just be able to reach more people and impact future semesters just by more people being able to be like, oh yeah, I was a part of Camp Crimson, because and like the past, like not everyone could go, everyone was able to afford it or be able to attend it just with what they were doing. And so with online camp, it'll be able to reach more people. And so I feel like for future semesters, more people will be able to have those connections.
I would say that they've been taking some strides towards still trying to, like I said, like the community through service mindset, trying to still instill that in people. So our PR committee and like the ones that cover all of our social media have been doing a great job about putting forward different like graphics and things like that, ways to stay involved. We actually have an Instagram filter where if you like put it on, it'll tell you like what kind of like small service project you could do that day to like change someone's, or not change someone's, but like improve someone's day or serve someone else around you. So that's been going around. And then we've just been doing, a lot of different organizations have had like just fun little interactive like graphics on social media. And so I think we've been trying to do that a little bit, just to remind people like, hey, yeah, a big event didn't get to happen, but like, here's where we are. We're still trying to like engage you all and like make it known that like big events still, like we're still going, it's still gonna like, we're still gonna do what we can to make the community service mindset go through. They also created a video on the day the big event would have happened, just like saying different things about what service and what big event means to some of our executive committee members and our ops staff members. So that was really cool. And then other than that, just on like the back end, like within the executive committee and like operations staff, we've had a few Zoom calls here and there, just kind of impromptu things where we've just kind of sat and hung out and talked to each other, because obviously we used to have weekly meetings and now those aren't happening. So we've like created those bonds and friendships within there. So we've had a few Zoom calls here and there, but other than that, we talk in the group me every once in a while, but I think everyone's kind of laying back a little bit, you know, trying to finish out school without stressing each other out too much.
I think we've done a really good job. We're still keeping everything like very like right now, like leading up to camp, for the small group leaders, it seems very normal. We still did family reveal and we're in the process of doing like co-reveals right now. And so like it all seems very normal. And like Gracie Johnson, she is mainly in charge of our social media and she's doing an incredible job. She's putting so many things out on our social media to really get people like posting about camp and posting memories and doing bingos. And we're having like senior spotlights for anyone who was ever involved in camp. They could send in like something about how camp like helped like their college time. And so we're doing like senior spotlights and things like that. So I feel like we're doing a pretty good job of keeping them all involved. And then orientation staff, we're all super close. And so I feel like we are very connected and kind of staying close with each other. And then also just like, since we're all orientation guides, we all have our families, I think we're all doing a pretty good job of keeping in touch with them and trying to get to know them as intentionally as we can. So yeah.
We've been doing some stuff on our Instagram. We've been doing trivia events online via Zoom. We've done a couple of Netflix watch parties, but I think Netflix changed, or like the watch party app changed how they're doing it, so we're not doing that as much. We've done our live music jam sessions, and then we have a bunch of Dead Week things happening this week. And then for our members, we've really been using our GroupMe and just kind of connecting through that and like building that community and keeping it going so that people don't feel disconnected or like we're just kind of leaving them behind during all of this. So like finding ways to keep talking and like keep that connection going has been a really big thing that we're doing. And we're also taking our like end of the year thing that we normally do, like we normally have an end of the year picnic, and we're trying to do that online through Zoom so that the members can still get to see each other one last time before they have to go before like school ends. And COVID-19 and all this coronavirus stuff really gave us a chance to grow in our virtual event planning, because I think we had kind of had like a little bit of an idea of how to do that, but we never really needed to, because people could always just come to the union and do events. But with this and with all the social distancing, we've really stepped up, and I think we're one of the few organizations that's doing that's like still doing events, and still trying to make sure that students are engaged, which is really cool, to like be on that front line and making sure that people, even while they're stuck at home or stuck in their apartment or stuck with like their roommate or stuck with their family, like they can still connect with people and still do trivia and still find other ways to get engaged.
Things that were supposed to happen in the spring that unfortunately didn't get to. So I think some people probably are kind of like sad that they missed that big opportunity. So what I'm hoping happens is that drives them to want to be even more involved, because they realize, like, I know I've definitely realized I'm a pretty involved student, and I definitely realized how easily things can be like taken away, and like those opportunities can be taken away. So I'm hoping that it's similar for like other people too. So instead of saying like, oh, I'm just like not going to be involved at all, they like change that and say like, okay, now I'm going to try and be even more involved, because I know that I might not have this opportunity again. So I think it could have negative impacts, but I'm really hoping instead it's more of a positive thing where people are like, okay, I see what happens whenever we don't get these things. Now I'm going to try and do as much of it as I can.